Hi everyone, this is Maggie from Journaling with Maggie. Thank you for joining me. Today we're almost finished. I'm almost finished with this Childish Memories journal. I basically just have to fill my pockets with tags and journal cards. I do want to add some lace. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put the lace yet, but I'll do that when I go through to finish it up. We've got our writing board right here. And today I would like to add some charms or dangles or whatever you want to call them. I've heard them called different things, some little jewelry charms. I enjoy making these. Again, I am no expert at it. These are some that I have made for other journals or just for the fun of it. This is a Christmas one. I hope you can see it. Here, I made some for the journal that I just finished. Before this one, it was a purple journal. These were some I had left over. I did a lighthouse journal earlier this year, and so I used a lot of the blues and browns. These are a lot of fun to make, and they're really not difficult at all. They are something you can just sit and do for the most part. The jump rings can be a little tricky until you get the hang of it, and I totally haven't gotten the hang of it yet, but I'm doing better. So today I'd like to make 4, maybe 5 dangles. It just depends on how much time it takes, because working on camera, I do work a little bit slower than I normally do. What you would need if you want to do this and haven't done it. Now, when I first started making journals and I wanted to add the beads like to the bottom of the journals, I learned to make tassels. I did not have any beads. I'd never been a jewelry maker, nor had any interest in making jewelry. But I did have some old, those long beaded necklaces. So all I did was break them apart, and I used those beads to decorate my journals. The strings that I used to tie my signatures in, and also as I gradually learned to make tassels, I used those for that. But then I found that you could really buy beads online pretty cheap. Some of the online stores have them really reasonable. You can actually buy beads in bulk from Amazon. I haven't bought any from there yet, and I really do not have a great selection of pink beads. So this is about all I could scrounge up out of what I do have. But you know, you work with what you have. These needles, I believe these are called eye needles. These you can get on Amazon. Where's my little... Anyway, this isn't the ones I got from Amazon, but they come in a little box, something like this, in a few different sizes and a couple different styles. Not expensive. Also, you'll need some tools. You'll need some needle nose pliers. 2 pairs really help when you're working with the jump ring. The jump rings, you also need something to make the little curl, little ring on the bottom. And it doesn't really matter if it's the top or the bottom, but to curl your wire over so you have a loop there to put your jump ring. This one I purchased, I believe I purchased this one on sale from Michael's. It's really pretty easy to use, and probably the most favorable of the 2 tools I have. It actually cuts the leftover wire and makes your loop all in one squeeze, which is really nice. But I find that most of the time I don't have a lot of room that needs to be cut off on the bottom of these, so as often when I use this tool was cutting off what I needed to make my little loop. So then I found these online. They kind of look like a combination, if you just look at them like this, of a needle nose plier and a flat, I'm not sure what it's called, but just a flat plier like this one. You know, I keep this at the ready. I use it for various things. If I have trouble when I'm sewing in a signature, getting my needle through, this will help pull it through. Sometimes it aids me in holding other things where you actually need to be like an octopus, but so I keep one of those handy. So this is the tool that I prefer using. It does kind of look like a needle nose plier, but it has a little groove, and I'm sure you cannot see it on camera. Well, maybe you can if I hold it like that. It has this little groove right here. And when you clamp down on it, of course, then the wire goes into there, and you just turn it until you have your loop. So let's get going with what we have here. I have some little flower charms. These look like little roses and some daisies. I have a heart charm. And I also have this. I really enjoy using these, but I don't have them in a lot of colors, and but I have used them on some of my charms or dangles, and I think they're really pretty. Well, I may have used them in the purple journal, and that's where they're all attached to right now. So anyway, okay, so let's just get going. I did pull out a couple of gold wires and a couple of silver tone wires. And, you know, you just start by putting on an end cap if you want to. You don't have to put on an end cap. And one of the ideas is to get this as, when you get your beads on here, that you curl your wire so you've got it as tight as you can be. And so I generally like to start with my glasses on, that might help. I generally like to start with a, now mind you, this is no tutorial. I'm not claiming it to be, I'm just simply showing you how I do it. And if you have suggestions, if you're a pro at this and you have suggestions on how I can do it better, then by all means let me know in the comments, because I do not mind that. I enjoy putting these little things. I'm not sure what these are called either, because I'm not a jewelry maker, but they add a little sparkle, and a little sparkle is always nice. Now, one of my daughters is all about sparkle and bedazzle, and the other one is not. And I'm really not that much myself, but there's just sometimes when some sparkle is very appropriate, and I think it's very important for our journals. So, and I don't think there's a right and wrong way to, whoops. See, I let go of this and everything came flying off. I'm sure there probably is a right way to put these together that's more, that makes them more appealing, but I figure if I like it, then there you go. I'm happy. I am not a stickler on any one thing. So again, when it comes to junk journaling, and you're just getting started, don't be overwhelmed by what you don't have. You probably have, for the most part, pretty much everything that you need. And any supplies that you may want. Now when I'm doing this, I try to brace this against my finger and hold on to it, because I do want to try to make this as tight as I can. And I'm sure there's a technique that is more professional than how I do it. Whoops. Oh, I forgot something very important. Before you start curling this, so I'm going to straighten this up now. Before you start curling this, you need to bend it straight over, and it helps in doing your curl. So now I've messed this one up a little bit, but we can fix it, I think. So I'm bending this over. It should be straight, but it's not. Let's just see what happens. It does make it easier to curl this if it's bent over. And again, I'm trying to brace it the best I can against my other finger down here on my left hand. And this is quite obviously not my best work. I haven't made one of these in probably a couple of months or several weeks anyway. So let's see if we can fix this without too much trouble. So I hope everybody's doing well today. I know every creator that I watch all says the same thing. I hope you're all well. I hope, you know. And if they're anything like myself, I take it like they genuinely mean it. I tend to take people at their word, because that's the way I am. When I say that, I hope everybody is well, I really do mean it. Although I know from real life that everybody probably is not well. And you know, we just do the best in life that we can. We go through every day and take care of what we need to do, and whatever, you know, this is just not, this I think may be a failure as far as this little, it's really not that difficult, trust me. But because I'm doing it on camera, of course, it appears to be a lot more difficult than it actually is. But I really do hope that everybody is well and enjoying your day and you're safe. Okay, this is far from being perfect. And in this case, I probably should have used that other tool. But you know, hindsight always works so much better. I don't really want that sticking up like that. Well, that's going to really bother me. Yesterday, I got the news that my granddaughter in Alabama had gone into labor. This will be my first great-grandchild. Well, that's a little bit better. And it's a little boy. I'm not even going to attempt to tell you his name. I cannot pronounce it. I'm sure okay, so here we go. This is it. And I probably would, I don't know if I dangle it from here. I'm not going to put the jump rings on just yet. I'm just going to see what we can do. So I'll put this right here. All right, so let's try another one of these. Let's start with a little bit bigger end cap. Here's one of these large pink beads. And you'd be surprised what you can salvage if you just, you know, look around your house, old books, old jewelry, sometimes we hide a treasure trove of things and don't even realize what we have. So look around your house if you're new and just getting started. See what you have. You might surprise yourself and be able to come up with some pretty nifty things. Now you do have to make sure, like I said, that you have a hold of this. Like I just try to brace it right here somehow. And I'm going to squeeze this just like this and bend. Oh, see, I did it again. I didn't bend it over. You got to bend this, Maggie. Don't forget. And I've forgotten twice now. If you haven't visited my channel before, I just started my channel about a week ago. I've tried to put up a video every day. One day I put up 2 videos, but I won't typically be doing that. And I am going to, I'm going to finish up this journal off camera, add, stuff the pockets, add some lace where I think it would look nice, and I'll put my dangles on if I can get them made. And do my cover. I've got an idea for my cover, and once I get going on it, it will not take me long to do it. I just have to do it. Well, I am just having one whale at a time today. My hands just don't want to do what I want them to do. I'm sure some of you have experienced the same thing. I'm not sure what's happening because usually this just goes over like it's supposed to so very nicely. But again, because I'm on camera, it cannot go that way. Well, there we go. So there we go. That's fairly tight, not real tight. Okay, so there's another one. So the next thing I'm going to work on is, I've said in some of my other videos that I'm going to make a mini album for my new great-grandson. And I've only made one of these, and I'll mention Lori again. Excuse me, Lori Crabb from The Old Paper Lady. She's the one that inspired me to do that. She's very, very adept at making mini journals, the mini albums. And I asked her if she would make one on camera, because I watched several videos about how to do it, but I just never felt that they were as clear, and the creators seemed to go about it like everybody knew what they were doing. And that just wasn't the case. So I asked Lori if she would do a video on it, and she most kindly did. She did a tutorial, and she was using it She was going to use it for a Halloween album for her little granddaughter's photos. So I appreciated that so much. I really did. I really did appreciate. Oh, now watch me. Watch me. Yeah, I've been this over. There, like that. And so I followed her tutorial and I was able to make one. So that's the next thing I'm going to work on. I'm going to do some pre-work before I shoot a video on it, though. I'm going to get all my measurements and cut my chipboard and get it ready to wrap and cut the pages, so I have all that done. So if you're interested in that, that'll be coming up maybe later this week or the weekend. Depends on if I can get this little journal finished. I did mention in another video too, my crafting world was limited to the fiber arts pretty much. I enjoyed sewing, and I made a lot of small quilts that I gave away anonymously to as gifts to people who maybe were sick or going through a hard time, just an encouragement kind of thing. And I really, really enjoyed that. But then we moved to Houston, and that kind of fell by the wayside. I also love to knit and crochet. My daughter owned a yarn shop in the Bay Area of Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area. It was a beautiful yarn shop and very successful. But she worked so hard that she became very ill and was in the hospital for quite a long time. And then she actually recuperated at my house with my husband and I. Her husband was working out of town at the time, and so she recuperated at our house. And she had some good friends that were running the shop for her, but she ended up having to close it. It was just too much for her. Her blood pressure was sky high. She developed diabetes and was having really pretty severe issues with that. So she closed the shop. And so that's, she was a fantastic knitter. She could teach, and she was self-taught, like myself in a lot of things. I'm self-taught. Well, my daughter is too. And she did a wonderful job. She developed a real knitting community with her shop. And people enjoyed coming there just to sit and knit. I worked with her for a while in the shop, but I was a registered nurse, so I was also working full-time. And it was really difficult for me to do both. So I loved to knit and crochet. That was a real enjoyable process. However, I would start many projects because I would get bored. You know, I would get bored with it, and I would, there we go. I would get bored with it and want to move on to something else. So I'd start another project thinking, oh, I'll come back and finish this. And sometimes I did, and most of the time I didn't. So when I move forward with any sort of project, I decided that I would only work on one thing at a time, one project at a time, because I wanted to feel productive and actually finish things. So when I started junk journaling, that's how I was with my quilts. I only made one quilt at a time, and I finished it and passed it to whoever it was meant to go to. And as I made those quilts, I would often sit and pray as I worked on them for the person that they went to, that they would be touched, they would be strengthened, they would be encouraged. That was my goal, was to be an encouragement to people when they were not feeling good about themselves or what was going on in their life. So that brought me a lot of satisfaction in so many ways. So then after that, we moved, and I got into junk journaling, and now that I'm doing junk journaling, I really do make it kind of a rule of mine that I finish something before I move on to something else. And that for me is much more satisfying than just having 2 or 3 things going at one time. I might have too many on there, Maggie. So once this little journal is finished, then I'm going to start on the photo album for my grandson. Well, actually for my granddaughter, I guess. I am anxiously waiting for any news about her, and while her labor is progressing, it sounds like it's not really progressing the way that it should. She's a tiny girl. She's very, very short. And I hope and pray for her. I've been praying for her that she does not have a hard time and that her baby boy is delivered safely. Oh, Maggie, for heaven's sakes, come on now. So this is number 5, and we've been on about 27 minutes, so that's not too bad. I probably will not continue on and put the jump rings on. That's pretty fiddly. And with the trouble that I'm having just doing this, it probably would stretch into an hour to put 5 jump rings on. So I'll do them off camera. You will see them when I do the flip through, and they're attached to the journal. Some I will attach to, 2 I will attach to the bottom, and the other 3 I will put on as, well, there we go. Okay, so I made my goal of 5. I did it in less than a half an hour, so I'm happy about that. Let me see if I can take this here and put these on here so maybe you can see them a little better. These are truly a lot of fun to make, and they don't take long. And again, you can go to the thrift store and buy some used necklaces, you know, and just tear them apart and get beautiful vintage beads from them. So here's one, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so I'm going to get off of here for now. Thank you for stopping by and spending some time with me again. I do appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. I really do want to grow my channel. I'd like to be an encouragement to people. I think sometimes it's okay to know that not everybody is an expert. And a lot of you watching probably know a lot more than I do and are experts in junk journaling. But my goal is to encourage others, and that's what I'm hoping I will be able to do. So like and subscribe. Come back to visit me. I will see you in the next video. So bye-bye for now.